about to say, the other side of this coin, right, of this weird romance coin, is that when done right, when done accurately, it's beautiful.
It is.
It's astoundingly beautiful.
Interesting, because when watching normal TV in the West, I don't really care about any romance in movies.
Me neither.
Like, ever. Like, sure, if there's a good movie and there's, like, a main character and he has, like, a love interest and things go well or south or whatever, it does get you emotional. It does. But I am not, like, one to watch soaps or, be invested in things where they fucking jam that shit in your face. Like, romance here, romance there. Romance movies, I don't even really like those at all. Ever.
I don't either.
But when done right, using romance in any other genre or anime, for that matter, is done beautifully.
Yeah.
And it really does get me emotional. Now, I'm not one to like cry in anime and movies like that. I mean, I'm pretty sure that when I look at the screen, I'm like, like whatever. But you won't necessarily find tears or anything like that. So I'm never really crying when I'm watching anime. But I do feel the shit, and I'm like, oh yeah, I like getting sad in anime.
Yeah. Like one of the examples of a show, of like not a show, but a movie I really want to watch is that movie about the deaf girl, and that she falls in love with her bully.
Yeah.
I do not.
Quick confession: I still never really watched that movie.
You didn't?
I basically when that movie was still in production, I knew about that movie because it's done by my favorite studio. So I was like, oh yeah, I knew about this. And when it came out, I was just like busy. People were talking to me constantly about the movie, and I was just busy doing other stuff. And then Your Name came out, and I was just like, Your Name is cool. Your Name was a good movie. Keeping it a while, and so I kind of just forgot. What is it? Koi no Katachi? I think, yeah. Silent Voice.
Yeah, Silent Voice, yeah.
So yeah, I kind of forgot about the movie, and I still never watched it. So I probably will soon. I should probably watch it with Rox or something. I don't know. She would want to watch that, I guess.
A thing that I do notice with me and just anime in general is the appeal to it I have is mostly comes from the fact that it's foreign, right? It's very different from what we have here in the West. It's very just the language, but also sort of the
culture, I guess.
Indeed the culture, but also the philosophy behind everything is way more different, which makes it very appealing. And the reason why I mentioned earlier that the reason why it can be very beautiful when they do romance properly is because everything is +10 in anime.
It's very extreme with everything.
But not even necessarily because they're all like, oh, why did you do that to me? But more but more they capture the moment really well because they animate it.
They're very good directors in anime. Yes. I noticed the way they do the shots or like the way they think about how they want to showcase a certain scene. It's just so different in anime, and then when you don't animate something like that, for example, you notice when they try to do live actions of a certain show that did well, you'll notice in real life it doesn't capture the same way. You can let Marvel capture it, but it will still kind of be different.
Yeah,
like Marvel's like there's I don't know, it doesn't matter. Certain things just don't translate well when you try to do it in real life.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
The downside to it is that. Mostly with romance, because I really like talking about this topic, but mostly with romance it's always the build-up. Yeah. It's always I have a crush, I'm going to ask her out. I asked her out, she said yes. Ending of the anime, right?
I hate it. I hate it so much when they do that. It used to be a big thing that they always did. Like, the entire anime is them trying to ask someone out, then they do it, then it ends. Yeah. And it's like, we held hands.
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, it's not necessarily that I want them to show sex or like things like that, but I'm just like, anime stops at the like happily ever after moment. Right?
Yeah,
but it's just like they're in high school. So many things can happen in a relationship.
Happily ever after, they barely got out of the womb.
Yeah. So it's just like there's so much still to do in the relationship, and that's why I like there's certain animes that focus on the romance aspect after high school. So when it's after high school, I like it a lot more because there's a lot more things they do. You know, like they go more in depth about how it is to have a girlfriend or boyfriend. They go in depth about like all the conflicts you can have in a relationship, and I think those are more useful for people of our age or high or like older, because it can be very. It can be very educational.
It is.
I feel like for people that are dating or struggling or wanting to date, I feel like it's very educational to watch things like that versus things that only show like, oh, I like that person, I'm gonna ask that person out. Now we can hold hands.
Don't play visual novels if you want advice to date.
Exactly.
Do not.
Definitely, because that, yeah. But it's true though. Like, yeah, I really do prefer anime that shows romance where they're a little bit older. The cast is a little bit older, or not even in school. That would be even better.
Yeah.
Yeah. It
Because
happens.
it's always in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Thorfinn from Vinland Saga is technically in high school.
I feel like in Japan, your life ends after high school.
It does. That's actually, there's an interesting video on this topic where the
Let's
reason...
not go too political on this one.
No, but it's not political, but it's more... The reason why most anime are set in high school is because for the Japanese people, high school was the highlight of their life.
I think so too, yeah.
Because
after that, college comes and you need to focus on your career.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Basically. They get into a job trying to get the best job. And when they get into that job, they will work there for 30, 40 years.
Exactly.
That's it. That's life.
That's still very present in Japan.
I understand with a corporate world like that it's very difficult to
exactly, but
capture any fun when you're older, I guess.
But high school, for them, was this moment when that wasn't present, when they were still on an adventure. So
I think a lot of them also didn't really have to think about all that when they were younger. I mean, of course, they had parents that would tell them, yeah, you're going to be a doctor, or yes, you're going to have a good job. But overall, as a kid, you can still kind of think, you can kind of like put that out of your head.
You can genuinely think you're going to be an astronaut.
Yeah, you can believe whatever the fuck you want, you know? Yeah. And I think that comes with imagination and also lack of knowledge. Ignorance.
Ignorance, yeah. Ignorance is bliss.
It helps to be a little bit more optimistic about things.
Yeah.
And that's why it was a highlight. I think I had more highlights when I was younger and was more optimistic. Like, even in shitty scenarios, I would always see... I don't know. I would be... easier pleased, I guess. Now, I'm a little bit more cynical when it comes to that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Because you start knowing more. It's like funny. It's like the moment I see a child, it's like a child's face is always like eyes wide open, eyebrows super high up, always super happy when they know less. It's like a dog.
It's
right?
filled with wonder. Yeah.
Filled with wonder, filled with inspiration, filled with adventure.
Yeah.
When you get the more knowledge you gain in your brain, the more all that just sags down and just becomes stagnant. Or no, actually not stagnant, it becomes like stale or like dead. So it's just like, I don't know, it's so interesting to me. So when I see a child with an expression that has like almost no emotion, I'm just like, oh, that kid has seen some shit.
This podcast is about happiness.
But yeah, no, yeah, I don't know. That's kind of